Every year, we've seen new changes in customer preferences and attitudes, and 2024 has been no different. 17% of last year's holiday sales were driven by AI-powered product recommendations.
Shipping and logistics related stuff, or you can say supply chain, basically played a quite important role during the COVID time. Recently, the data suggests that this supply chain issue has gotten better.
Consumers are going to be using AI, whether they understand they're using it or not, it's going to be more embedded into their everyday life, and they're going to be adopting these new behaviors very, very quickly. We're going to just see a massive personalization at scale over the next years, which is super exciting. Shopping experiences are going to get faster, they're going to get better, customer satisfaction is going to improve, and it's really going to be driven by the fact that all of these technologies now are going to be mainstream for the consumer in every aspect of their life.
Hello everyone, welcome to BetterTech. So today with me on this podcast is Kayla. Hello Kayla, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing very well, thanks for asking. So Kayla, first of all, thank you very much for your time today. And we will start with quick introduction. You can go ahead, briefly introduce yourself, and then we can pretty much get started with the topic.
Yeah, my name is Caila Schwartz, and I'm the Director of Consumer Insights and Strategy here at Salesforce. I've been here for almost 10 years.
That's quite some time, I would say.
Yeah, it's been a journey.
Right. So, I mean, since you touched upon the journey, how's your journey so far? I mean, where did you get started? I mean, and how did you reach where you are today?
Yeah, well, I am originally from Massachusetts, born in Central Mass, and I grew up always wanting to be a doctor, and I went to college at Wellesley College in Massachusetts, and I was a biology major with a pre-med track, and I graduated with that biology major, and I started working in, or was doing research, Alzheimer's research. So running experiments, testing hypotheses, and writing research, and it was a really fun. I loved it. And my first start in my career was in biotech. It was a tough time in that industry when I first got starting out. So I ended up transitioning into tech. My first tech role was at Demandware in 2014. Yeah, so I started out at Demandware, and my role was really utilizing the skills that I had, research and data analysis, to help build out some analytics around marketing spend, marketing campaign efficiency. And that's where I met Rob Garv. So Rob, who's now the GM of Retail and Consumer Goods here at Salesforce, and he pulled me in to his team pretty quickly, and I started doing consumer insights. So utilizing all my skills for research and data analytics, and basically building out an insight, or helping build out an insights practice here at Salesforce. So now my role is using our platform data, so all the data coming off our commerce, marketing, and service platforms, to understand the state of today's consumer and the industry and market overall. And so it's been a really fun journey. I love my job, and I'm excited to be here today to share with you all of the great insights we have.
That's amazing. So, you touched upon like some topics. So, it seems like, I mean, you sit on a pile of data and then you
Yeah.
do analysis on that and everything. So, what sort of trends you have seen in the recent past or over the years that is driving consumer behavior in retail, especially during the holiday season, because we are now approaching there. So, what does your insights tell us?
Well, the consumer is changing so rapidly and so quickly, especially over the last few years. When we look at, post 2020, when we saw massive digital transformation, consumers were adopting digital in retail at speeds we had never seen before. And their expectations were changing so rapidly. So every year we've seen new changes in customer preferences and attitudes. And 2024 has been no different. And this is a challenging year for consumers. We're still seeing high prices, high interest rates, and there's still supply chain disruptions happening out there in the global economy. So, consumers are really this holiday going to be making purchasing decisions based on value. They want to have great experiences, they want to have personalized experiences, but they really want to be getting a good price. So, whether that's just a low price overall, whether that's promotions and discounts, whether it's loyalty programs, that is really going to be the driver behind the consumer this holiday.
Sure. So, I mean, since you said that behavior is evolving, it's changing every time, and you also touched upon some of the challenges that they are facing. Now, from a retailer standpoint, I mean, what those retailers or those shopkeepers or whoever the brands can do for the consumers to maybe ease their challenges or enable them to buy more.
Yeah, well, there's a few opportunities that we've unlocked this year, which are amazing. And the first is around loyalty. Our data shows that shoppers are actually getting more loyal. So we looked at the rate of repeat buyers and we track this number every single quarter, and we've been tracking it over many, many years. And shoppers are getting more loyal. They're buying from the same brands and retailers at higher rates every single quarter, which is really exciting. So there's opportunity there. Thinking about how you're delivering the right customer experience for your audience, using your data to understand what your customer wants out of your brand, thinking about how a loyalty program can play into that. We just talked about how value is such an important component that's going to play into the holiday season. Loyalty programs are a value play in the mind of the consumer. 63% of consumers said that they're more likely to make a purchasing decision if they can earn and redeem loyalty points. And, loyalty programs just don't have to always be about points. It can be about having exclusive in-store experiences, having access to, limited edition merchandise, being able to do free in-store returns or free online returns. So there's a lot of different options there, but really cultivating that relationship with your shopper, that's going to be a huge opportunity this year. The other is, which I'm really excited about, is around the concept of site search. So product discoverability and site search. So the search function on your website is such a powerful tool. And we see that for shoppers that engage with your site search, they have a much greater propensity to buy than the average shopper to your site. So encouraging shoppers to use your search feature, thinking about how your search feature is visible and usable on mobile. So 3/4 of all online e-commerce traffic is coming from a mobile device. So, making sure that your search bar is visible, easy to use, easy to find, encouraging shoppers to use that. And then thinking about how you can embed technologies like AI into your search feature. AI-powered product recommendations are a huge driver of orders and sales. 17% of last year's holiday sales were driven by AI-powered product recommendations, and so embedding AI in search actually makes AI search even more impactful and drives even more orders and even better conversion. So we're really excited about that, and those are just two opportunities to really play into the concept of value, but also just provide a better experience, help encourage product discoverability.
So, I mean, you mentioned like a few things in this answer. So I'll dissect them one by one. So
Yeah.
loyalty. Now, what does the data say that typically people are more, I mean, are they more accustomed to or are they more comfortable with the brand-based loyalty programs or what are offered by their credit cards maybe? Say for example, they have a card and then they use it, they earn loyalty points and then they get cash back or maybe redeem it elsewhere. Are they more comfortable on that front, or they would like to have the special branded or maybe co-branded or specific loyalty cards which gives them more? What's the trend about?
That's a good question. I would, I'm not 100% sure. We don't have data showing whether a credit card, a generic bank given credit card versus a brand issued credit card, how those perform differently. I can speak more broadly in the fact that consumers are leaning into credit cards in general because loyalty programs that they offer are more lucrative. And so we're seeing a shift away from these more traditional, or sorry, more new players in the financing market, like buy now, pay later, into credit cards because they do have that loyalty component. So I can't necessarily speak to whether the branded or the unbranded card is where shoppers are leaning into, but I would say that shoppers are joining like free loyalty programs a lot more often than they have in the past because again it's a play on value, and so how a loyalty program, a free loyalty program versus a credit card play against each other, I don't have data for, but I can say that shoppers are leaning into a paid loyalty program, so like Walmart Plus or Costco membership. Those are performing really strongly as well. So shoppers are leaning into, definitely leaning into these types of initiatives.
Sure, sure. And you touched upon the inclusion of AI for these brands that can help them drive more sales. And you
Yeah.
touched upon that the search is the key use case where
Mhm.
AI can bring more revenue or more sales. Are
Yeah.
there other use cases of AI as well in retail that you see coming in or playing an important role in this shopping season, holiday shopping season, or you think that search is going to be the main component of it?
Search is not going to search is just one of many. And I mentioned search because I'm excited about how the changes that Google is making to their search feature, their core search product, how that's going to impact customer behavior, right? Because shoppers or consumers in general are just getting much more exposed to the concept of generative AI. Now, every time you use Google search, or most of the time when you're using Google search, you're getting a generative AI prompt back to you. And that's going to really shape the shopper expectation for how they interact with your brand. And so I'm excited by that. And Walmart is actually testing this out already. They've embedded Gen AI into their search. So now that's analyzing customer intent. So not now when you type in a search query, you're not just getting the products directly related to that search query, but you're getting ancillary products that you might also need. So if you're searching for balloons for a birthday party, you might also get party plates and tablecloths and all of the things you might need to plan a party. So that's just one component that I'm excited about because there's just so much change happening in that particular innovation. But another component that we're also, or another AI offering that is getting a lot of traction is the embedding of AI into customer service. So whether it's through chatbots, or arming agents with generative AI tools to help them service customers better. And actually, Gucci just did this. They've been using generative AI to connect all of the data across their business, to really understand their customers. So now when a service agent has a conversation with a customer, they're armed with so much more data, right? And they have generative AI responses that they can embed into the conversation. And they've actually reported a 30% increase in sales from this. So that's really exciting. And then just an offshoot of that is the store assistant. So in-store assistants helping associates provide a more personalized experience for that customer, being able to unify all that data and provide them with product recommendations in store using the power of generative and predictive AI. So those are just, there's so many examples, but those are some that are, I think, happening today and are going to be really impactful over the holidays.
So if we talk about, say, for example, the US retail market, we see that there are apps which are sort of, aggregator apps. Say, for example, shopping carts, etc., like the likes of Amazon, Walmart, Costco. You touched upon a couple. So there is like one genre of those applications. Then there are branded apps, say, for example, Gap, Old Navy, uh, Polo. They have their own apps. And then there are international apps as well, which are now getting quite a lot of popularity within the US retail market. So
Yeah.
during this season, what your trend suggests, that are people going to leverage these international apps mostly, or branded apps, or maybe aggregator apps or shopping cart apps? How do you see the trend evolving?
Yeah, there's a big shift to these international apps. Your Temu's, your Shein's, TikTok,
Yes.
AliExpress, they're having a huge impact on the Western market. 21% actually. We are predicting that they'll capture 21% of Western market share, which is just incredible. So, and there, again, going back to the concept of value, it really all comes down to value. In our research, we have seen that um, 68% of shoppers in the last 6 months have already placed a purchase on one of these apps. And if we just looked at Gen Z and millennials, that number would go up to 80%. So they are having a huge impact. And the reason why they're gravitating to these apps that they tell us is that it's all comes down to price. It's not quality, it's not shipping times, it's not even really like product variety. It's all coming down to price for them. And so they're they're having a huge impact in this market. They're going to have a huge impact over the holidays too.
So shipping and logistics related stuff, or you can say supply chain, basically played a quite important role during the COVID times and all those things. So recently, the data suggests that this supply chain issue has gotten better, or I mean it has got better, or it's more worse than it was at that time. What do you think?
I think we're dealing with a new set of challenges. So there's a lot to unpack with this one. The inventory challenges are not necessarily as poignant as they were back in 2021. The last mile challenges, all of that those capacity restraints for last mile that we saw in 2020, we don't have as much of that today. Although I would say that last mile is getting a little bit longer. So we went from shortening, getting the product to the customer's doorstep in a matter of a day or two to now those times being drawn out a little bit longer. But we are dealing with new challenges, which is, I would categorize as more of like a global conflict bucket. And so the challenges that we're seeing in the Red Sea, containers having to reroute, longer freight times. It's also driving up costs. So shipping container costs are spiking again, not necessarily to 2021 levels, but they are definitely above 2022 and 2023 levels for costs. So that's putting extra burden on margins this year for retailers and brands. So we don't have the same challenges. We have different challenges, but we still have challenges in supply chain. And I'm excited to think about the innovation that could happen within supply chain, just given the fact that there are so many challenges for the last, I think we're probably on the fifth year of facing up against the challenges within the supply chain market and how that impacts the economy in the US.
So, I mean, since we are moving towards the end, I would like to really know that what are some of the core or key trends that you anticipate in the retail sector over the next few years? And how do you see the consumer behavior getting impacted based on the technological innovations or the technology in general, like AI or other related things? So, how do you see that
Yeah.
going in the future?
I think we're at a really exciting inflection point, particularly for AI. I talked about the changes that Google's making, but also with the changes that Apple is making to their iPhone product that's going to be launched this fall.
Yep.
What that means, right, is consumers are going to be using AI, whether they understand they're using it or not, it's going to be more embedded into their everyday life, and they're going to be adopting these new behaviors very, very quickly. And this was the inflection point I think we were all waiting for, right, with AI. It's getting a shopper to go to an app or a website to engage with an AI chatbot is a lot harder to do versus them using AI on their phone every single day, embedded already in the core applications that they're using, whether it's, SMS, the Siri assistant, search, and all of that. So that what's exciting about that to me is it's going to change consumer expectations, and not just for Apple and Google, but for everybody. So when we think about how that changes for a brand or retailer, thinking about product discoverability, connecting consumers to product quickly, getting them to the right product, delivering on these personalized shopping experiences. We're in a time and era where shoppers want to feel like they have a unique experience with their favorite brands. And being able to do that at scale is really hard. But with AI, it's a lot more manageable and a lot easier. So we're going to just see a massive personalization at scale over the next years, which is super exciting. Shopping experiences are going to get faster, they're going to get better, customer satisfaction is going to improve, and it's really going to be driven by the fact that all of these technologies now are going to be mainstream for the consumer in every aspect of their life.
I'm going to shift gears a bit. So, Salesforce is a tech company, and you have been like in the leadership role within Salesforce, right? So, what do you have seen like the general trend of women in retail, or tech related to retail? So, how have you seen that trend going up or down, or what's your experience in general?
Yeah, I have so many female colleagues, and there is a very strong female presence in this space, and it's exciting. I don't know if it's going up or staying the same. It's definitely not going down. There's, more and more women are getting into the space, getting in tech in general, which is awesome. And Salesforce is such a great company to work for, and so it's just been a wonderful experience. And being a woman in tech, and also being a mother, I'm a mom of 3 kids. And so Salesforce has been like just truly a wonderful place to work as I have become a mother here. So it's just been a wonderful and a great place for women to work.
So we at BetterTech have quite a lot of female audience as well. So before we conclude, would you like to say anything or any message to our female audience?
Being a mom or a mother, and being a professional and a leader, it's not easy, and it's you hold many hats, and you're pulled in a lot of different directions. I would say persistence is key. I like to be grateful for everything, all the opportunities that I've been given within my career, and the people and the leaders that have helped me get here. And just, being persistent, being riding the wave, never getting too high or too low, especially being at a company for such a long time. You see a lot, you experience a lot, you go through a lot of phases. And so, being patient and having that perspective and that gratitude will really get you through the tough times and the good times. And it is a journey. So I've just been very grateful for that. And it's a great place to be.
That's amazing. So Kayla, once again, thank you very much for your time today. Really appreciate it, and we hope to have you back soon with some other topic where we can pick your brains on that, and maybe some upcoming webinar series as well. So thank you again for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.
You too. Bye.